Hello, today we're going to go over what to do when you have a crank no start, probably like the first 5-10 minutes, what I would do to kind of narrow down the problem and figure out where to focus to try to figure out what the issue is as quick as you can. So first things first, you have a crank no start, check your batteries, make sure you got 12 volts, and probably put your battery charger on it, even if your batteries are good, because you will kill your batteries really fast dealing with a crank no start. I've done it, and probably a lot of other people have, I hope, or maybe I'm just stupid, I don't know. All right, next thing you want to do is when you turn your key forward, you want to listen for injector clatter. So I'm going to do that right now so we can hear what it's supposed to sound like. Oh, you know what? I don't think I can hear it from in here. Oh, I can barely hear it. It's like a buzzing and clatter. I'm gonna go out and see if I can get a better sound for you so you know what it sounds like. All right, so I'm gonna turn the key forward and you should hear like a buzzing sound almost. Okay, so if yours sounds like mine, where it's buzzing really well, you don't hear any dead spots or whatever, then your injectors are probably all firing. So then the next thing I would check is the ICP pressure. So you're going to need something that can read some different metrics. I recommend getting something like ScanGauge, or I believe there's ForScan is like a free thing you can get on your laptop, and then you just need a way to plug it into the truck, either Bluetooth or hardwire. I'll put a link in the description for one of those things to help connect it to your computer if you want to go that route. So first thing you need, ICP pressure needs to be 500. If you're cranking and you do not hit 500, then you most likely have a high pressure oil leak, and that is your problem, especially if you have a crank no start when the engine is hot. So if you drive somewhere and it either shuts off while it's driving and won't start until it cools down or something of that nature, you probably have a high pressure oil leak. If you have a truck that is like 2005 or the late 2004 on up, some common spots are like the standpipes and dummy plugs. But the oil pump is usually pretty good on those models. If you have the newer models, the oil pump tends to go out more often. And you don't have as many problems with the standpipes or anything like that. Best way to check for when you start narrowing it down to that is to do an air test through the IPR sensor. I'll put a link to a converter thing that you, to plug into your IPR to pressurize it, and then you can hear the air leaking and figure out where to focus. So that would be the next step. As I'm editing this, I forgot to mention that you can also unplug the ICP sensor. On the 2004, 2000, or like the late 2004 and newer, ICP is on the passenger side valve cover. You can just unplug it. If you have the older models, 2003, 2004, then it's going to be like behind your turbo next to your IPR. And if you unplug that, and your truck starts, then you know you just have the ICP sensor is malfunctioning. So that's another quick thing that you can check. Just unplug that sensor, and if it starts, then you know that that's the problem. Next thing you want to look is make sure that your IPR, you can check that, make sure that you can pull it out and check the screen, make sure it's good. I have a video about that. I will link that. The IPR should not be reaching 85. It should be lower than that, but like higher than 15. It should be somewhere in the middle. If it's basically, if it's at 85, I believe that means it's fully closed, which means it's trying to build ICP, and it's not. And so that's why it's at 85, because it's still saying, hey, we need pressure. So if it's not reaching that, then you probably have an oil leak, or you might just have a problem with your IPR. If you can switch that out or check your IPR, that would be the next step on that. And if you don't hear injector clatter, then you want to start looking at the FICM. Make sure that your FICM is all the way plugged in. Sometimes the clips break and you just need to push them in. I've actually had my truck stop in the middle of the road at a light, and I got out, pushed the connector piece in, and it started, and it's been running fine. It's just the clip is broke, so I had to figure out a way to like keep it plugged in so it doesn't die on me in the middle of the road, because that's no fun. So FICM, you want to look at how many volts you're getting. It should be around 48 volts. Needs to be over 45. Anything over that is fine. And then the actual power should be like 11.5 volts to the FICM. So you can check both of those. You also need to check the sync. So when you turn your key forward, sync is going to be 0. When you're cranking, it should be 1. If it's not, then you have a problem with either your FICM or your cam sync. Sometimes they have separate syncs on different code reader, like your reading stuff. So if you have that separated, then you can narrow it down a little easier. But if you don't have sync, then you could have a problem with your actual FICM or your cam sensor. Next, you need to have RPMs need to be above 180 or around 180. If they're not, your starter could be weak. You might need to switch that out, or you might just maybe try putting jumper cables on and seeing if maybe you're just not getting enough power, which I know you already were supposed to check your battery, but sometimes your battery is reading 12 volts, but it's just not enough. So sometimes it's, that's a quick, easy way to rule out power issues, is to just throw jumper cables on from something else. Next thing you can do is plug it in, especially if it's cold, or even sometimes if you're just not, I've had where my glow plugs just aren't working and very good, and I plug it in and it just makes it a little easier for it to start. So try plugging it in and see if that makes any difference. And the next thing I would do is check fuel pressure. Make sure that your fuel pressure is 45 or higher. If you're having problems with fuel, definitely check your filters. You should be changing those either every oil change or every other, depending on how crazy you want to be about it. And those are the first things that I would do. Another thing you can do is, if you are not getting ICP, you want to make sure that you're getting base oil pressure. So when you're turning, you can make sure that your dummy gauge on your oil pressure on your dash is going up. But that's just a dummy gauge, and I think it's only like 8 psi will make that go. So that doesn't mean you have good oil pressure. That usually just means your low pressure pump is working. But another way to check that, which again, I have this in another video, so you can go, if you don't know how to do it, you can go watch the video of me doing it. But you can take off your oil filter, pull that out, push the button in there while you're cranking, and make sure that oil is coming up into the filter. If it's not, then you probably have a problem with your low pressure pump. If it is, but you're not getting enough ICP, then again, you probably have an oil leak, or your high pressure pump is not working, one or the other. So those are the first things that I would check to help narrow down the problem, and then start researching that specific part of the problem. Because when you have a crank no start, it could be a lot of different things, but if you can narrow it down to the main problems, the most common problems, it's going to be a lot quicker than, having no idea. So hopefully this helps you get to narrowing down those issues and get you back on the road. If you found this helpful, or you would like more information on any of these specific problems, let me know in the comments. I'm going to try to do more videos. I'm kind of busy lately, so I'm just doing videos when I can, but the more you guys watch this, the easier it is for me to do it, because right now I'm not monetized, and so I'm just doing it for fun. If I can get monetized, it makes it a lot easier to want to do these videos. So if you find these helpful, like and subscribe and watch the videos so that I can make more of them. So stay independent out there.